All right, click the links to join the channel here over at SubScribe to our mailbox as well. Want to mail me a comic or book that you want me to cover. So why 2012 Piranhaconda is better than movies today. You look at Empire here, it's like, well, you know Empire is better than movies today, but even those kind of asylum films, those $1 million budget films, which is for movies is very low budget, are also better than movies today. Ridley Scott, among others, was talking about how crap modern Hollywood is, and I was thinking the same thing because over the last 2 weeks, I've gone back to watching movies, and I realized I had missed movies, and it's okay to have like a fun little 90-minute distraction, once a week, and that there used to be fun movies, but I had to go to the past. Obviously, for this time, this would be, I guess, a big budget movie. I think it was $15 million. But there's also this hundreds of these kind of sharktopus, whale, wolf type of low budget bikini movies to get a story without a woke, whiny soy boy storyline preaching about, I don't know, some kind of Trump stand-in or the red hat type of people or open borders or some kind of nonsense about idiots in a limousine waving an American flag, yelling at little brown people. I think that was in the first minute of the Wolverine movie. So why can't we have fun movies today? Well, what happened was Crackalactica was showing A New Hope and Empire on a 16 millimeter version of the film, and I kept thinking about how good they looked because they were originally shot on 35 millimeter, and how that works is a better format than a modern digital camera using at least 4K, which is I think 3800 lines of resolution, because you can see in the 35 millimeter, and especially the even less resolution 16 millimeter, for a movie like a fantasy sci-fi story with incredible, unbelievable characters and practical effects and props, you don't want things to be so crystal clear that it has a hyper reality dream effect of being more real than real. And there's an issue with frame rates too, where I mean the old ones were like under 30, and then for video games and for some movies they're going up to like multiples of that, where it's like everything just kind of feels weird, like a fever dream, a lucid dream or something. Where 35 millimeter film feels similar to how humans process the image, where there's motion blur, the big image is taken in, and then movements and threats are registered first. The background isn't important unless it becomes part of the story. Where with CGI and now AI creeping in, you've got the 8K lens flare of Abrams and Johnson with the Disney Star Wars, where you have a space scene and that has perfect rendition. It just tells you that the computers they're using are super fast, and it was made in a Hollywood basement. If you have a wooden spaceship in a warehouse as these shots are set up, then you want some blur because it also makes the actors appear more cinematic. I mean that you believe that these are characters, where Daisy Ridley and the others are just actors on a screen, and you knew that they were going to be on Twitter later. I love this scene right here. I don't know, like how you can show this. I probably already showed too much. That's like the YouTube is really kind of a pain in the ass with this kind of stuff. It's like, yeah, you can fight the strikes, but it's just ultimately not worth it for a 57-cent video. But I like this scene specifically because of how blue it is, and how it conveys this feeling of foreboding and danger, and it really makes you feel like they're buried in the snow somewhere because it's blue and white, making you think of ice. The problem with social media and not having people between the actors and communication is that we're too close to the actors now, and it makes the characters unbelievable because you know that they're just actors. And the future of movies is AI, which is its own video, and there's a lot of upside to that too, because well, we can start making videos for very very low budget. Anyway, I saw Zombeaver and Piranhaconda, and I was kind of going down the list of these fun, stupid, low budget movies. But Piranhaconda is a favorite bad movie of mine, and it occurred to me how much better it was than most movies today, because it was a simple monster movie. It was mostly a chase scene about a giant snake chasing a film crew who were trying to dodge some Mexican kidnappers with horrible fake accents. But it also had some heroism. And there's a scene where the director is injured, so he grabs a rifle to distract the snake so his crew can escape. And you don't see that kind of simple storyline and simple heroism in stories today, at least not with the people who were cast for Pranaconda. Because in that movie, the good guys were white and the bad guys were vaguely brownish, or at least kind of brown coated, like Italians using horrible Mexican accents to play Mexicans. They used to use Italians, the spaghetti westerns, where the Italians would play the Westerners, and then they'd play the Indians, and then they'd also play the Spanish. They were just capable of what does Devon Stack call them? Spaghetti something. I forget the term. Anyway, so if these movies were made today, and he also calls us potato something, it would be time-traveling blonde Germans who are also ICE agents who are deporting native colors of peoples of colors from their mud huts and trying to capture the snake and train it to eat Palestinian trans gay babies or just something stupid. And Pranaconda didn't try to do anything more than get a half dozen large-breasted hot chicks on a screen, which they did very successfully, with two hot lead girls fighting over the lead guy as they dodged the kidnappers, an evil herpetologist played by Michael Madsen, who has been in every B movie. Probably the biggest one was, I think, Species. And they got to escape the snake, who, of course, eats everyone except for the two main characters. There wasn't the plucky, super smart and sarcastic half-black Asian Kalergi chick, or all the blonde guys being blonde Germans. They did. There was a whale wolf versus like Sharktopus or something, and there was literally an Austrian scientist trying to create Ubermensch and was creating all these monsters instead. But it was done pretty well. And the whole thing was so ridiculous. But it's like they still have those tropes in there. Or blonde Russians as the bad guys, as are in a few movies. Or blonde South Africans. Or blonde biker gangs. You see that in every comic book. And the budget was, what was that movie with Bruce Willis, the building, the terrorist, and it was like blonde Germans or something equally ridiculous. And then they switched to blonde Russians. In Keanu Reeves movie, and then they sometimes they'll use blonde South Africans in diamond smuggling movies, and you start putting these movies together, you go, wait a minute, this is absurd. You can't find any other people other than Germanic, Aryan type of like out of central casting, and when you put the movies together, it's like the guy on Twitter. It's I think it's white people are stupid in commercials. That's his Twitter handle. And you look at this and you go, whoa, we seem to have a real problem here. And social media is finally letting us talk about it. And the thing is, because it's stochastic dehumanization of people look like you and me. And the budget for that movie, Pranaconda, was $1 million in 2012. And in that time, CGI, since 2012, has gotten so much better. So the simple question is, well, why not go in that direction and make simple, unwoke movies without them diversity shoehorned into everything? Because the audience doesn't value diversity or gay characters. We're not shy about it. To the extent I can say it on YouTube, diversity is a Hollywood value. It's not our value. Maybe if people were just honest about things, we'd be able to start changing this. So the situation is when Hollywood makes movies with values different from the audience, well, that's the definition of propaganda. I mean, you even have like the Bechdel test is, women talking, the guy turns down the volume, or POCs on screen and all this kind of nonsense. And lately it's been them remaking movies and then race swapping all these characters that nobody gives a shit about. James Gunn was talking about Peacemaker, and he was calling critics racist if they criticize the movie for some reason. Racism isn't real. It's a control term that globalist media uses to manipulate the sheep. A term isn't real if it becomes arbitrary, where it had one definition, then the modern bullshies at the ADL, I guess I'll skip what I was gonna. Tried to redefine it. Lizard people. Then it devolved into different groups. I mean, having Greenblatt be your representative is a weird lack of self-awareness. He looks like a troll, right? Something that would be under a bridge. Like if you say his eyes have vertical slits or something, I kind of believe you because he looks so freakish. The thing is, if you disagree about that term, like give me your definition in the comments, because every time I ask somebody for definitions on Twitter, they can't give it. Peacemaker had a scene where an obese black woman she's like over 200 pounds. She's running down the street, being chased by a crowd in the neighborhood because the black lady had broken into a private neighborhood and they can't catch the morbidly obese waddling cow. So with her athletic prowess of being, 250 pounds, she hops a fence. And what was that movie about? Oh God, it was like some obese black rapper lady. They race swapped her. Was it Queen Latifah? And she's like, I don't know, in her 50s, over 200 pounds, can barely move, and they made her like some action hero. Where again, I'm sure I didn't see any episodes, but I'm sure she's going after evil blonde men or something. Anyway, so in a Peacemaker, the obese diversity hire jumps a fence and then jumps in a pool for some reason to swim slowly away. And yeah, there's, you could comment on that. And the idiot blonde people who are obviously known for low IQ, though they built a civilization in America, Australia, Canada, Europe, Iceland, New Zealand, and 90% of technological advancements, including atomic submarines or aircraft carriers, the most complicated things on Earth, or maybe the space travel, rocket ships, and the guidance system. I mean, literally went to the moon, and that was all European people. And so these idiot blonde people, of course, they also all jump in the pool instead of just walking around, which would be faster and keep you drier, of course. And you just like, oh hey, we got her cornered in the pool, we can call the police. And then some Asian guy electrocutes them, murdering them for chasing an intruder who had broken into their private neighborhood, who they hadn't done anything to. And obviously, this is stochastic terrorism. They call you Hugo Boss because they want to murder you. And it never occurs to the left-wing anti-white crowd that the non-white land whale was in the wrong, or that white people have their own neighborhoods. That idea just isn't plausible, that different groups want their own place. And I troll them on Twitter with something similar when they say, Israel colonized Palestine. I go, fair enough. But Islamic colonization took over Africa and the Middle East with violence, slavery, rape, and murder for 1,400 years, and they think the body count is somewhere around 800 million. It's the greatest use of violence and force in human history. Islam. It's not, the Catholic and the Inquisition. Not, or they go that Austrian guy. Not even in the same league. It's Islam is number one. I think communism is number two. So the acceptable rules are of violent colonization, and they don't have a response to me. And if it was up to me, I'd just invade the region, remove the people, and simply replace them with European people who can bring much needed cultural enrichment and diversity. Unfortunately, I'm not in charge yet. Anyway, it's it is kind of rough to defend Israel, but it's worth it to troll the soy boys. Anyway, so an over-the-top stupid scene, just so the two non-white characters can murder a bunch of beautiful white people who hadn't actually done anything other than chase an intruder. Then they're in some alt-Earth where Hitler/Trump won the election, or won the war, I guess, and created a really nice, safe, clean, white society, and the obese black lady invades it, and then an Asian superhero murders the white people who just wanted to be left alone. Peacemaker doesn't notice that everything is so nice and safe because it's all European people. Hollywood is really fantastic in their subtle messaging. His message is that white people were living peacefully, but violent diversity came in and then murdered the white people who weren't harming anyone. And the left thinks that they deserve to be deleted by the diversity because they didn't want the diversity there to murder them in the first place. It's an amazing catch-22 of logic. Anyway, there should be more movies like Piranaconda, and the good news is that because of AI and online platforms, you're going to be able to make movies like that for a whole lot less. So we can kind of start making different movies for different groups and put them on, like things like SubScribe to get them, or Odyssey member section or Rumble member section to get these things monetized. There's things we can do now that were just not possible, 5, 10 years ago. So I'm very openly saying how stupid forced diversity movies are. I'm not using euphemisms. Make movies that look like 77 Star Wars, and you'll have people who are willing to pay for them. People keep talking about how bad Hollywood is, but they're scared to say it's diversity and the gay stuff. It doesn't mean we hate them, but we're not them. We don't understand gays, and many people don't value their lifestyle, to put it mildly. It's not that we want pitchforks and torches. There's no need to, strawman some kind of sociopathic tendencies or project the sociopathic tendencies of the left onto the right. Like, the right doesn't want to hurt people. We just want to be left alone. Where the left actually, actually does assassinate people and uses violence. But we also don't want to have two dads who essentially bought a catamite in a Disney movie, because those are Disney Epstein values, not our values. Most of us are either Christian or pagan or even not really religious, but kind of tribalists, which is kind of based on this standard atomic core family. And the thing is, nobody wants diversity. You'd make more movies, more money, if you just made different movies for kind of different ethnic groups. And we're just be open about it. There's no need, you don't have to shy away from a lot of things. And now with subscription platforms like Odyssey and Rumble and SubScribestar, you can do things. You can make a low budget movies or a monster snake movie like this for a whole lot less. And movies are so bad now that people would rather watch a low budget woke free movie than some big budget Wakanda. Anyway, the future AI is another video, but not for YouTube, is going to allow us to have just so much fun. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you all next episode.